So the LA Times had a commentary column. And a guy named Ben Bolch, who covers UCLA sports, known for covering UCLA sports, talked about the matchup between UCLA and LSU. And in it, he labeled LSU as the Dirty Debutantes, which I thought when I heard it and then I read it, I immediately thought of you, Jason Stewart. Do you know why? Alliteration. I'm like, Jason's going to love this. It's clever alliteration. It's really clever alliteration. But what's happened since is frankly embarrassing to women's basketball. Embarrassing. You started with the Kim Mulkey deal where she claimed that there was she claimed that there was a piece that was going to take her down.
Hit piece. Yep.
Yeah, hit piece. And it turned out to be a profile piece. Now, I think it's reasonable to think that her threats of lawsuits probably made them take some of the salacious details out. Right? Very reasonable. Do you know why? Because everyone's scared of the pushback they're getting for the LA Times, which is a commentary piece, which, oh yeah, by the way, was really nicely written and pointed out what, you can call, I just thought it was clever alliteration. But then you got this Haley Van Lith, who's white, she's a talented player, best player or leading scorer for Louisville last year, lost to Iowa in the Elite Eight, said this yesterday.
We do have a lot of black women on this team. We do have a lot of people that are from different areas. And unfortunately, that bias does exist still today. And a lot of the people that are making those comments are being racist towards my teammates. And, I'm in a unique situation where I see it with myself, I'll talk trash and I'll get a different reaction than if Angel talks trash. And so it's really up to me to, it's not up to me, but I have a duty to my teammates to have their back. And obviously, some of the words that were used in that article were very sad and upsetting. And, I actually didn't want us to read that article before the game because hearing stuff like that, it's not right. And it's not that type of description of us isn't always motivating. I think, calling us basically the dirty debutantes, that has nothing to do with sports, and that's not motivating. And so I think I wish we hadn't have read that, because I think that can crush your soul a little bit, that someone would ever say that about us that doesn't know us. But again, obviously, in my opinion, I know for a fact that people see us differently because we do have a lot of black women on our team who have an attitude and like to talk trash, and people feel a way about it. But at the end of the day, I'm rocking with them because they don't let that change who they are.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First thing is, in my opinion, it's a fact. Those two things do not actually work together, right? In your opinion, you're allowed to say that. If you think that the racial connotations come into play, but are we really is that what we're doing? This is what we do. When somebody screws up the court for the NCAA, automatically it's sexism. Right? This all started, by the way, Dan pointed out, with the San Antonio weight room situation. You guys remember that? This was during the COVID year. Okay? And again, we talked about it at the time, but it's embarrassing that no one else in the media actually will pick up the phone and call somebody. What was the difference? Why was the men's weight room so nice and the women's weight room not nice? It was just like the shake weight. That's they had a couple mats, a shake weight, a couple other things, right? All those different deals you can buy on TV. Somebody ordered them and put them in a weight room. Well, the men had the Big Ten tournament there in Indy, and then had all the rounds of the tournament in one place. They were there for a month. And the organizing committee put in their research to. The women had just showed up the day before and then had the Final Four. And oh yeah, by the way, again, you have to blame the right people. The organizing committee for San Antonio, I believe was the city, was to blame there. The people to blame for the court was whoever put the court together. not the NCAA, not sexism, not racism. And as for Ben's column, like, I don't know what world you're looking at, Haley, but they're talking about you, not just Angel Reese. Okay, let me be honest with you. Has Haley Van Lith been called Kevin Durant by anybody in the media? Because she pulled a Kevin Durant, right? She lost to Iowa in the Elite Eight, I believe. Is that right? And then she joined LSU the next year as essentially a free agent. Now, what's not mentioned, and in all of these articles, is LSU is doing the same thing in baseball, in women's basketball. They're just buying up talent, which, again, by the rules is legal. Okay? Whatever your level, whatever your belief is in how ethical it is fine. Like, there is nothing illegal about what they are doing. Period. Stop. So don't anybody say I didn't say they're breaking any rules. Do I think it's good practice, to recruit off of another team when you win a national championship and you have good enough players to win? Like, no, not really. But again, I'm also not coaching, and I'm also not Kim Mulkey, who's trying to cement herself as, in her mind, the greatest women's coach of all time by winning at multiple schools and winning multiple titles at LSU. I get it. Okay. But she's like, well, we have black women talking trash. No, you're not understanding. The reason no one likes you is because, one, you go buy up a player from another team after winning a championship, essentially pulling the Kevin Durant. Two, you run your mouth constantly. Your coach is despised. And anytime somebody's critical of you, you go to the sexism or racism card. The sport is growing. It is healthy. And you're on what should be, by the way, like, again, we have people don't like our attitudes. Your own coach suspended Angel Reese this year because of her attitude. What we are teaching, frankly, women, but we're teaching all young people, is there's zero accountability. None. Hey, what if we just went out and won the game? And then when the buzzer's over, we point to the scoreboard, celebrate however you want in your locker room, okay? Enjoy it, go to a Final Four, win another national championship. But you can't do that. Look, I like that you're rocking with your teammates. My best friends are my teammates. I've been texting them all day long about a bunch of stuff. Brett Robish, happy birthday to you, man. You were awesome to play with. But this people making, like, could you avoid the word dirty because dirty in women has a super negative connotation? Yeah, I get that. That's reasonable. But to make it about racism, like, come on, what are we doing? Because what that means, and I had a long time ago, when John Calipari, I believe he was at Memphis, before they lost the national championship again, it's like 2 years before. That group was really young. Maybe it was the year before. And I was asked on TV, how do you beat Memphis? And I said, hey, they're young. You got to put them in the half court and make them think. And John Calipari said, that's racist. So I called Coach Cal and I was like, Coach, what are you talking about? I don't have a racist bone in my body. That's not. He's like, well, you were critical of my team. My team's all black. Like, I wasn't critical of your team. They're black. They're young. I was like, if you self-scouted and you said, what's the best way to beat your team? He's like, that's not the point. I go, actually, that is the point. My job is to analyze. I was asked how to beat your team. And did I nail it? He's like, yeah, but. No, not but. So we got to stop. Because what you're doing is your sport is welcoming in lots of people who are just dropping in. Hey, I want to see this. And you've made yourself the villain. That's fine. Lean into it. You want to talk trash? That's fine. But if you talk trash, here's the thing. If you talk trash, not everybody's going to like it. Lots of people won't. There's a way to handle yourself like champions. You haven't. And the idea that it's your opinion and a fact that people are racist because they're pointing out how unlikable you are. You are not likable. No one likes you. And it's not because of your basketball. It's because of how you act and how your coach acts and how she's treated people along her path. If you can't accept that, then this is probably not the pool you should be playing in. This is the adult pool. Right? And in the adult pool, you have to be accountable for your actions, and people are going to be critical of you. And if you can't play through some of that critique, especially when it's valid, again, the adult pool is not for you. Go swim in the kiddie pool.